official compliance.
Hey, it's Larry Sharp here on the Sharp Way Show. It's a little bit past 7 p.m. on the East Coast. And yes, I am here on the Sharp Way Show. Thank you so much for giving me a small chunk of your evening. There's, I guess, interesting news, right? That I think everyone kind of, it's not like we didn't know, but I guess now it's official. Trump is back in the race. And it wasn't like, I don't think anybody was surprised. Maybe there were some people who thought he wouldn't do it, but I think the vast majority of people believed that Trump was going to come back into the race, and he did. Not really a shocker. But there is a difference, though. He's coming into the race in a time when I think most people believed, him included, that there was going to be a massive red wave, and he would be the one who had taken all these people across the finish line, and he had shown his power and how all hail Trump, and he's going to take everybody across the finish line, and everybody would just bow and see, you're the man. That, sadly for Trump and Trump supporters, did not happen. Now, I knew there wasn't going to be a red wave. I thought it'd be a red trickle, and there was. I think there was a red trickle, but it wasn't the big wave. And most of the people that, or the heavy hitters that Trump was behind, they didn't win, as you probably know. And more importantly, the one big heavy hitter that did win, J.D. Vance, that was really behind him, didn't even thank him in his speech, which tells me J.D. Vance is ready to walk away from him. And the thing that some people don't get is once you win the Senate, you're good for 6 years. It's the longest one of them all, right? Congress, it's 2 years. President, it's 4. Senate, 6 years. Once I got what I want from you, bye, sucker. That's kind of how a lot of congressmen feel. I mean, not congressmen, senators. I'm sorry. I think J.D. Vance is like, I don't care about Trump anymore. 6 years, I don't need him anymore. Now, he might. Who knows if that's an accurate way of thinking. But I think that's J.D. Vance's thinking. He's like, what do I care? I got 6 years. Trump won't be important by then. I think that's what J.D. Vance is thinking. So Trump's lost a lot of his friends. Not a good feeling. I know. I've lost friends too. When you start losing, people start walking away. Boy, I know how that feels. So I guess I get a little bit of a feeling connection with Trump on that one, right? Him clearly far bigger than me. Obviously, I'm just trying to put myself in that same boat. But I'm just saying I understand the feeling of all of a sudden you're losing. Where'd all my friends go? So yes, I think he's got a little bit of that right now. But he still decided to run. Some of you might think that's a smart thing or not a smart thing. Well, here's what I would say. It's a gamble. And I think it's a totally Trump gamble. The other option, some people might say, well, Larry, what option does he have? And I'll look at the other person, the opposite side of him, which is Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi did the smart thing, right? The safe thing and the smart thing, the safe thing. No gamble on her. She steps down now after not such a bad red wave. So she can say, see, look at what I did. I'm not so bad. And she steps down and gets to choose her successor. She stays in as an emeritus, right? So she's like a senior elder statesman. That's how she portrays it. And she gets to pick her successor. This is a savvy, not really much of a gamble. Is there a chance that her successor stabs her in the back? Maybe there's a chance, but it's low because she will have to praise him. He will praise her. They'll be seen publicly as buddies. The odds of him stabbing her in the back are slim. Could happen. It's politics. But the odds are a whole lot less. She'll get treated with lots of respect. She won't be the leader anymore. Someone else will show up. Pelosi's move is a very smart, not smart, safe move. That's what I'll say. Trump is a gamble. If Trump gets beaten in the primary, I mean, he's finished. But if he wins through all of this, oh my God. I mean, everyone's going to be like, well, Trump, we were kidding. We've always loved you, right? They'll have to go back and play that game. It will not be fun. Let me grab a couple of comments. I'm going to show you a couple of pieces to show you kind of what I'm thinking about. So Shelley says, hopefully an end to hidden agendas. Oh, not knowing the issues in smaller areas, an end to eminent domain for corporate purchases, paid with tax dollars, end of freedom thefts, end of insider trading. Well, Shelley, I have a little bit of bad news for you. It's none of that. Just telling you, it's none of that. What this shows you, and let me, since I'm there, let me talk to you about what Trump did and what Pelosi did. Trump's speech, if you saw it, and let me give you a little chunk of it, just so you understand what we're talking about. I'm only giving you a small chunk of it so you understand what I'm about to say here. There's no special change. If anything, it's more of the same. And that's the part that I think is that is going to be the most disappointing for those who are further right and for those who are further left. Both. This is how Trump announced.
Beginning of our fight to rescue.
Oh, hold on. Let me make sure I got that right. Hold on. Let me make sure I got that perfectly correct for you guys so you can hear it. And here it is.
The American dream. And it's a word you don't use. 2 words. I don't want to be Joe. It's 2 words. American dream. That was not good what he did. There are a lot of bad things like going to Idaho and saying, welcome to the state of Florida. I really love it.
Now you might say, well, Larry, there he is attacking people. Well, to be forward with you, that's what people liked. And even this is not high energy. This is not him hammering people like he used to. He's not saying Sleepy Joe and the stuff that made people excited. The value of Trump was that people saw him as the outsider, number one, right? That was his first advantage. And the second advantage is it felt like he was going to do something good for the American people, right? He was going to make America great again. So on a purely, and obviously, look, I didn't vote for Trump. I support libertarians. I'm just saying on a purely political piece, that was his value. Outsider, okay. People who like outsiders, great. And he's going to make America great. Okay. Oh, okay. That's the guy. Let's get behind him.
In order to make America great and glorious again, I am tonight announcing my candidacy for President of the United States.
Is it me, or did you see a severe 1, lack of energy, 2, lack of enthusiasm? And where's I don't mean to be a nudge here. So if you guys are Trump supporters, please don't get mad at me for this. If you're not Trump supporter, you're probably happy. But if you're they'll be mad at me for this. I'm asking a serious question. Where's the stadium? I'm serious. This guy was president of the United States. He used to fill stadiums. Where's the stadium filled with, 15, 20,000 people yelling USA, USA, and yelling for Trump to do this? Now, did he do that on purpose? How could I know this? This is just me asking questions. I don't know if it's true. Did he do it on purpose? Did he think, well, this is more presidential? Did he do it because he didn't think he could fill a stadium? I don't know what it is. But this tells me he's lost some of the juice. And this goes back to what I'm saying for Shelley. I don't think Trump's ready to be a rebel. I think he believes, or his team believes, one or the other. I don't know which one it is, maybe a combination, that being the hardcore rebel is no longer the thing to do. So I've got to be more calm, that thing. I got to do that more, right? I got to do that. I mean, if that's true, he's not changing anything. And then what's then pick DeSantis, right? If you're a Republican, pick DeSantis. Why would you pick boring Trump? The excitement's the reason you want the excitement, right? Isn't that why people like Trump? I don't know. Maybe I'm off here. Look, guys, I'm open to being wrong. I'm telling my view as libertarian outsider looking in. That is my view. I feel like this says, to your point, Shelley, no change. He's prepared to just be the status quo. That's where I see it. I mean, maybe I'm off. So John doesn't like him. John says Trump's a yes. So yeah, he doesn't like him. Dave says Trump made an announcement last night. He took the credit for Trumplican victories, and he blamed the Trumplicans that lost. Well, that's on brand, Dave, right? He's on brand at least. He is doing what he thinks. Absolutely. So absolutely, it's good. Shelley goes on to say Pelosi isn't going anywhere. She's just not going to be Speaker of the House. Hubby and fiscal fraud means it's time to hide. Yes, and I think you're totally right. That's what I'm saying, Shelley. Pelosi's move is the safe move. That's the move that says, I'm going to walk away. I'm going to pick my successor who will be safe and good to me, right, in case I get in trouble. He's not going to be investigating me, right? So I got this guy that I need. He's going to be there. And now I don't take the L. So Nancy doesn't lose. The problem with Trump right now is Trump has always, in his head at least, if not to others, always been a winner. Now he's got 3 L's in a row. Not easy to come back from that. I know it's not easy to come back from an L. Not easy. And 3 in a row? Not easy. Hard coming back from 1, right? Now 3, not easy to do. So, yes. John says, 1 Republican, you'll be governor. John, people have been saying that to me a lot these last couple of days. I appreciate the sentiment. I do. The Republican Party doesn't want me. I'm just being forward. The Republican Party doesn't want me. So even if I wanted to be a Republican, which I'm not, I'm a libertarian, they don't want me. Now you might say, well, Larry, you can turn the Republican Party libertarian. Maybe, but then they have to be open to letting me in for me to even do that. So maybe, and to be forward, in the past, no one's been able to do that. I mean, am I better than Massey? Am I better than Justin Amash? Am I savvier than these guys? I don't think so. I mean, there was 3 and 4 of them, 1 of me, and they couldn't turn Republican Party libertarian. Am I going to do that? I appreciate your confidence in me. Perhaps I am that Republican messiah or something. Maybe. I hope so. But I kind of have to have a flock that wants to hear me before I could go there. So I think the reality of it is what I wanted to do, and this is a little bit off topic, but just because John brought it up, is the right answer. I should have been able to run, and I hope the Republicans will figure this out this year. Let me run as a libertarian in their primary, just like Bernie Sanders does as a socialist and Democratic primary. Let me do that, and then I run as libertarian. I think that's how I actually win. But that's my view. We'll see. So anyway, just thought it was pretty interesting. Yes. John goes on to say, it was a red tide, Larry. It stunk and it made people cry. You know, John, you make a very valid point here. I want to bring this up. The problem is expectations, right? The expectations were so high, and when they now became so low, we're like, now I'm disappointed. And I was with Trump too. Trump's talk was disappointing, right? I wanted it to be huge and show, and I could go through the entire thing. People were leaving during it. It was low energy, and this is not like him. It's not like him, right? I wanted to be able to show the whole thing and talk about it. There wasn't much to talk about. But one thing I will give Trump, I will give him this. Here's what I'll give him. He actually had a couple of ideas, right? And that was something. Republicans, they got nothing. Nothing. And I say this all the time. Democrats are the party of bad ideas. Republicans are the party of no ideas. Trump has actually had some ideas, which was not bad. He had something to say, which was good. I did appreciate that aspect at least. All right, a little bit. That was something.
So many incredible friends and family here tonight. It's such a beautiful thing. It's some people.
Yeah, friends and family. That was my point. I don't want to. There wasn't much to the speech to be very for. People left. It was kind of dull. There were some ideas, which was nice. But now someone's asking instead about McCarthy. Someone just asked. James says, what are your thoughts on Kevin McCarthy becoming the next Speaker of the House? Look, I'm going to show you his right now. It was absolutely not impressive at all. McCarthy's got a problem, and so does everyone else here. Everyone else, Republican side, have a problem. And the problem is they've spent the last decade or so expressing how evil every Democrat is, right? They're all evil, anti-American. They're all evil and terrible. And now they have to work with them because they've got to have a small lead. And if any Republicans decide to say no, they're in trouble. And there are some left-leaning Republicans who may not be on board with this, right? And there may be some far right-leaning Republicans who are not going to be. The Freedom Caucus may be against McCarthy too, right? So they could all be against him. It's all possible. So you'll have to get Democrats to work with them. But you've been calling Democrats all bunch of names. This, I think, nothing but good luck again. That's my gut. But let me tell you why I believe that. This is McCarthy showing up and what they had to say. And you'll see, I thought it was actually embarrassing, but I guess they were proud of it. But I thought it was embarrassing. This is McCarthy.
Well, good evening. I'm proud to announce the era of one-party Democrat rule in Washington is over. Washington now has a check and balance. The American people have a say in their government.
The American people have a say in their government. This is the kind of thing that you will hear Republicans say constantly. Now, Democrats say the same type of stuff. I'm not beating up on Republicans here. I'm beating up on both parties, but this is their talking. I'm going to give you something that Biden says after this, and you'll see what I'm talking about here. And Pelosi, same idea. But in this case, he says the American people don't have a voice. So, the Americans are the Republicans. Democrats, these people are foreigners. That's how he's starting the conversation.
And this new Republican leadership team is ready to get to work.
There's nobody new there. This new Republican, there nobody there is new, right? The newest one is the woman in the back right-hand side. She's the newest, but even she's not new.
To put America back on the right track. It was our commitment to America that we would create an economy that is strong, a nation that is safe, a future that is built on freedom, and a government that is accountable. And that's exactly what we'll do. Now,
this is just stuff he said that meant nothing. Just to be clear, if you think that meant anything, that's because you lean right and that felt good, but it didn't mean anything.
I want to bring up our conference chair, Elise Stefanik.
Now,
thank you to our next Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy.
From New York, there we go. Elise Stefanik, hardcore Trumpster. All of a sudden, here she is.
I'm honored to earn support from my colleagues to continue serving as House Republican Conference Chair. We won this majority because of our commitment to America, and we are the last line of defense in a House Republican majority to stand up for the American people. And I particularly am proud, being from the state of New York. We picked up 4 seats in New York State, flipping blue districts to red, and we will have a.
All right, let me cover this real fast. If you're a Republican in New York State, please, if you're a Republican, period, please don't believe this horseshit lie. Just please don't believe it. Not that you didn't pick up the seats. You did. That part's true. But I got Zeldin not taking responsibility. Thanks to Zeldin, no. No. Redistricting is what did it. And for those who don't know, Cuomo, in who he is, you remember Cuomo and Hochul, they tried to gerrymander the entire New York State, to gerrymander 2 or 3 Republican seats out of New York State. I'm not joking. This is true. New York, for those who don't know, we lose so many people. Our state's such a disaster that we lost so many people. We lost a seat in Congress. We went from 27 to 26. Right? That's what happened in New York State. So whenever that happens, okay, got a problem. And then at the same time, we had the census. So we had to rewrite all of our congressional districts. And the Democrats said, oh, great. Let's gerrymander everything to throw 2 or 3 or 4 Republicans out. I'm not joking. This actually happened. And it was working. And Republicans were pissed off. And they were so mad, the Republicans sued, saying, this is blatant. You got to do something. And Democrats had hoped that it wouldn't matter because in the past, judges have completely abandoned their duty, as they so often do. They abandoned their duty and didn't go, this is completely bogus. Let's change it. In the past, they just let gerrymandering happen, and that's why much of gerrymandering still exists. But this drawing of the map that the Democrats did was so egregious that a judge in New York said, come on, I want to let you guys scam because I'm part of your scamming system, and I really want to let you scam because all I do as a judge is just totally collapse to the system because I'm a New York State judge, which means by default I'm garbage. So I just collapse to the system and do whatever the system says. But this is so bad that even I can't put up with this. So they decided we're going to stop it. I'm not joking. This actually happened. Trashed everything. And by the way, for about 2 or 3 weeks, we actually had no congressional districts in New York State because the judge threw them out. We couldn't go back to the old ones because the old ones had 27 districts when we only had 26. So for a couple of weeks, we had no districts. And that, of course, was the time when I was petitioning and I had to get 500 signatures in at least half the districts. And no judge cared about me that was physically impossible for half the visiting time. Didn't care about that. But anyway, besides the point, not that I'm bitter. I'm bitter. Not that I'm bitter at all. I'm so bitter. Anyway, besides that. So the Republicans then got to redraw the districts. And the Republicans got great districts. They won because of districting. That's why they won. New York didn't all of a sudden become, red. They're trying to act like we had great candidates. They all became red. No, it was gerrymandering. That's why they got it. So all I'm saying is, please don't act like the Republicans were so awesome that they all of a sudden made New York red. New York is still very deep blue. I know what you're going to tell me, but Larry, Zeldin came close. Yes, because you have a bunch of pissed off Democrats. So let's be clear, because Hochul's terrible. Our governor is garbage. She's terrible. So of course you have pissed off Democrats. But be clear on something, Republicans. Be clear on this. And Democrats too. Be clear on this. Pissed off Democrats are not Republicans. They are pissed off Democrats. So the second that Democrat who's not nuts shows up, they will turn and vote for that Democrat. They just don't want Hochul because she's bad. So when a decent Democrat shows up, they go, oh, you're not terrible, I'll vote for you. And the state will go right back to being blue. So keep that in mind. It will take several sessions for the state to become more red or gold, which I think that the state will become gold far faster than it will become red. Anyway, I've yapped away. Let's hear what else she has to say.
Tremendous Republican conference in the 118th Congress. Now it's my honor to introduce a new member of the leadership team, the sophomore elected representative to the leadership table from Oklahoma, Stephanie Bice.
Now, she said literally nothing. Remember, McCarthy said nothing. She said nothing. She used the keywords America and proud and defend.
Thank you.
What will she say?
In the state Senate, I served in leadership. And as I entered Congress, I wanted to continue that role. So I want to say thank you to the sophomore members of the 117th Congress who have elected me to represent them with this elected leadership position. I am excited to get to work with my Republican colleagues to push back on one-party Democrat rule and really work for the American people. It is an honor to be representing my great state of Oklahoma, but also be part of this leadership team. And I look forward to getting to work.
Getting to work twice.
Our next speaker will be Lisa McClain, newly elected Secretary of the Republican Conference.
Our next speaker. They're not
Thank
speaking
you.
the same thing.
And I am Lisa McClain from the great state of Michigan. I am excited to be on this
Excited
team.
again.
We have elected some phenomenal leaders here.
Okay.
I think we have a big job in front of us.
Yeah.
America is counting on us. They are counting on us with the commitment to America to move our country forward. I am just excited to be part of this team. And quite frankly, I'm excited to get to work. So thank you. With that, I want to introduce my friend, Policy Director, Mr. Gary Palmer.
Why is this a press conference?
Thank you.
They've said nothing.
In agreement with my colleagues here that we've got work to do. We made a commitment to America.
Commitment to
to
America.
keep it.
Okay.
We're going to work every day to bring down the
hard.
cost of living, to make our country more secure, and to ensure that parents have rights in regard to their children's education.
Well, it's just something.
This is an
Tons of rights.
opportunity for this nation to move forward. And I cannot wait for the opportunity to get to work as part of the next Republican majority in the 118th Congress. It's now my privilege to introduce the Vice President of the conference, Mike Johnson of Louisiana.
Wow. Okay, someone say anything?
It's my great honor to be reelected to serve another term as Vice Chairman of the House Republican Conference. I'll just tell you, the group in that auditorium is ready to get to work. We're ready to bring common sense solutions to bear to all the many crises that are facing the country right now. That's an exceptional group of people. They're patriots, and they're going to serve the people well. We look forward to that. We're delighted to serve with this exceptional team. And I'm delighted to introduce to you the new chair of the NRCC, Mr. Richard Hudson from North Carolina.
Wow, no one said anything. All right, I think we get how this works, right? This is exactly my point I say all the time. Democrats are the party of bad ideas. Republicans are the party of no ideas. Nothing. We're ready to take over Congress. Great. What are you going to do? We're just honored, and we're going to work hard. Awesome. How? By being honored and by working hard. Great. How? With a commitment to America. Okay, great. How? By working hard with the commitment to America. Okay, awesome. How? By working hard. It's a great team. Why'd you have a press conference? You said nothing. And people mad at me. Larry, what are you going to do? I can give you 8 hours of goddamn policy. They can't say anything but honor and let me introduce the next guy. I mean, it's like a joke. They're all airheads. And we're like, go. We're doing so great. This is what we're up against. But, let me grab a couple more comments before I keep moving on. Because I wish Democrats were better. They're not. But I wish they were. Because then we'd have at least one party that was doing something. They're not. But anyway, let me keep going here. All right. Dave says, if anyone thought it would be a wave election, one way or the other isn't paying attention. This was what others call the status quo election. Dave, I couldn't agree more, right? One of the reasons why people were saying, Larry, how in the world could you have known this? And I said, because as I crossed the state, I actually heard people's problems, what they were saying, what their issues were. And when I heard it, and my policy team knows this very well, and some of you who've been paying attention know, when I hear problems, I come up with solutions. Some of you have given me problems on the show, and I say, give me a couple of weeks, and I'll have a policy for it in a couple of weeks. And I do, right? Here's a problem. Okay, let me see what I can do. And I come up with a policy to fix the problem that you have. That's what I literally, some of you see me do it on the show, right? I do it often. So on my website, I have tons of policies on stuff you would never think I'd have a policy on. Well, because people were like, this is a problem. So I looked at what Kathy Hochul said. And all she said was, you get $1 million, you get $1 million. Here's my money to my friends, money to my friends. That's not going to solve a problem. And I heard what Republicans were saying. More cops. Kathy's bad. That's not going to solve the problem. So I knew it would be status quo because there was no, as I say often, when Obama first ran, he had hope and change. And when Trump first ran, he had Make America Great Again. These are positive, ongoing ideas that we will fix things and make things better. We didn't have it this time. We just had other guy bad. Vote for me or the other guy will kill you. That's all we had this time. That's what it means, 100%. So yes. Phil says, make Saudi lobbyists great again. Trump, probably. That's actually cute. I like that. Yes. Brian says, the GOP's reaction to Trump's announcement is akin to being set up on a blind date with your ex. Wow. Brian. Wow. Okay. Wow. But yes. Look, to be forward, no one's even really talking about Trump, right? This is an early thing. They're not talking about it. I think DeSantis is doing exactly the right thing. I think DeSantis is just keeping his mouth quiet. So this way, if he doesn't run, I never said I was going to run, and he's good. And if he does run and go, I was focusing on Florida. For those of you who don't know, Florida has term limits. So DeSantis can only stay governor for this next term, and that's it. So they have term limits. So he can only do 8 years. That's all he can do. Our state, New York, does not have term limits, but Florida does. So he can only do those two. So that's the issue, right? So that issue is a thing that he's dealing with also. Pete says Trump increased federal spending by 42%. We have to stop believing that the old parties are going to become our saviors. They aren't. Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. So Joseph says Donald Trump calling people out doesn't bother me. I agree with you, Joseph. I do. I think that's kind of his thing, right? If you like Trump, and I know many people still love Trump, if you're a Trump supporter, him doing that was part of the reason why you liked him. So I agree. If you're going to get your people back, if you're going to motivate people, I think you should. I agree with you, Joseph. I think you're totally correct. Yes. It doesn't bother me. He did do good for the American people. The only thing I didn't like about the speech is that he said the drug dealers should have the death penalty. Yeah, I'm not happy about death penalty for drug dealers. I completely agree with you. Yes. I don't think he lost any juice. I'm not buying what you're saying, but you're cool too. I felt like he did. And Joseph, if you're more of a Trump supporter, you might be a better judge. Or maybe you're biased and maybe I'm a better judge. I don't actually know. I could see either way. I'm going to tell you how I felt. I guess that's what I'll say. I felt like he was too much on, I feel like he was too much teleprompter Trump and not off the cuff Trump. And it is my opinion, and perhaps you disagree, it is my opinion that he's stronger when he's off the cuff Trump because people expect it. It gives them the hits they want to see. I think people feel more comfortable when he's that way because he's matching what we believe he is. If that makes any sense, right? It's like if the dog is always barking, then the dog's not barking. Like, why is the dog not barking? That dog always barks, right? So I think we're accustomed to him calling people out. And I felt he wasn't aggressive. I didn't see him do the name thing. I didn't Sleepy Joe. I didn't see any of that. So I feel like he didn't. So that's just my view. Scientific Libertarian says you could use anti-vaxxer propaganda to trick a small portion of former Trump supporters into not voting for him since he's taking credit for it. But I don't condone such evil shenanigans. Oh, yeah. But you know what? When you look at so many people who are actually not anti-mandate, right, but anti-vax, where they're going to go, right? It's very rare to find a mainstream public official, running or not, who's anti-vax. Many who are anti-mandate, but very few to find anti-vax. So I don't know. I feel like that may not work. That's just my gut. I feel like it probably wouldn't work. So anyway, Brian says, I think he's trying to add more like DeSantis, act more like DeSantis. Yes, and I think it's a problem, Brian. I agree with you. I think you're correct. And it is my opinion, that's the wrong way of doing things, right? If you're not going to be a better DeSantis than DeSantis, right? And DeSantis is not going to be a better Trump than Trump. So my gut says he shouldn't be doing that. But I think you're right. I think he is doing that. Harold says, Larry Shaw for president 2024. You are trying to kill me, Harold. You obviously do not like me, and you are trying to kill me. I appreciate the sentiment, but I'm going to pass on 2024. I do appreciate the sentiment. 2028, maybe. We'll see. I don't know how many L's I can take. We'll see. But I'm going to pass 2024. I appreciate the idea, though. So, yes. All right. Henry says, the problem I have with Trump announcing is that now it allows Democrats to simply point to the orange man instead of coming up with good ideas for 2 years. Henry, they were already doing it, right? I think you're right. It's now official, but they were already doing it. I mean, that has been since 2016, 2015? No, 2016, that in that area. That has been the playbook of the Democratic Party. So for at least 6 years, that's been the playbook. And to be forward, Henry, it works. I wish it didn't, but yes, it works. Absolutely. It does work. So yes. All right. Philip says from now on, we'll be libertarians. No more. We'll be libertarians. No more taking L's. That's a good one. Phil, look at you. That's a good one. Nicely done. Yes, absolutely. That's good. All right. Let's see here. Let me keep going here. Running a Republican line would be conceding to everything they sue you about. I feel bad for both sides because their own leadership doesn't care about them. This is true, right? And to be clear, often I bring up Republicans, Democrats, and I probably should be clearer when I say that. I usually mean the leadership of the Republicans, Democrats. The average Republican, the average Democrat who's out there just doing their work and living their life doesn't care about leadership, doesn't care about most of the stuff we talk about. They're just trying to live their life. So I don't mean them. What I mean is, specifically, I mean the leadership is what I'm talking about usually. So yes. So Brian says even Reagan had to back off his 1976 libertarian stance to get the 1980 nomination. So yeah, I don't know, right? Do I got to do that? Is that the right answer? Do I want to sell out and then get nothing? If you're going to sell out, get something for it at least, right? I mean, if you're going to sell your soul, get something for it, right? And something, I don't know. I appreciate this sentiment. I'm not sure that's a place I want to go, but I get where you're going. So Dave goes on to say, Larry, in order for you to run as a Republican, you might have to become a white Protestant Christian nationalist. That will be challenging, Dave, but I guess I could try. I could do the Michael Jackson thing. I could try that, see if it'll work. So yes, that's good. Tim says, Republicans are managing their decline. The party would do everything in its power to maintain its number 2 position in New York. I think that's a very astute observation. It is. I don't know if you've seen this now, but now that they're trying to pump Zeldin to be the next RNC chair. I mean, I got to be very forward. Props to the grifters. Well done. Far better than I could have done, right? People often say, Larry, you should have done X or Y. And I'm like, but I didn't think that way because I'm not a grifter. So, and the best part is, Republicans that say Larry's a grifter. I wish I was a grifter. Larry's in Hochul's pocket. Where's that check? Hochul, give me the check. If I'm going to sell out, let me get something from it at least. But no check came to me. So I love that check to be a sellout, whatever they think I am. But Zeldin took $12 million Republican dollars, threw it in the garbage and lost knowing he was going to lose. Nick Langworthy, knowing he was going to lose, took even more millions, stabbed people in the back, and now he's in Congress. Well done, Langworthy. I mean, that's awesome grift. So then now Zeldin is trying to become the RNC chair. That's next level grift I didn't even see. I thought he'd be in a lobbyist firm or a high power law firm is where I thought he'd go. He's going to become RNC chair? What a grift. That's bigger than I thought. And the Republicans in New York said like, yeah, Larry Zeldin's the man. He literally stole your money on a lie so he could become even stronger and faster and better. So he could ignore you more. And Republicans like, Larry, you're the bad guy. I don't think that's accurate is what I will say. So yes, there we go. All right, go here. The hero says when Trump had one of his huge rallies, there was a person who left early. He was called out by Trump. He lagged as he left. I remember that. Yes, I do remember that. Absolutely, 100%. Yes, I do remember that. 100%. All right. Joe says I was depressed for 2 days after and recovered quick. In the next cycle, we'll go Republican. So that is something to look forward to. And the reason we're going is because the economy is going to have a complete meltdown next year and the year after. Yeah, see, but here's a problem, Joseph, and that a lot of people don't understand. It's important to understand this. People don't change because things are bad. People change because things are bad, and there's hope. If either one puts hope up front, it's not going to change. Bill Spence, my brother Bill, love the deuce as well. Ah, yes. Let's see if I can find it back here. Right here, by the way, is the unit that Bill Spence and I were in together in Okinawa, Japan, in the Marine Corps. That's correct. Yes, I still have that. Yes. Way to go, Sergeant Sean. Yes, we used to have people who worked in the barracks who would call me not Sharp, but Sean. And it's Sergeant Sean. That's what they would call me. So yes, I was the police sergeant. True. Is there a less high-profile office you'd consider to get your foot in the door and force people to acknowledge their stances on the key issues? Bill, thank you so much for being there, brother. This guy was a running machine. He yes. So anyway, would I consider it? Generally speaking, running is, and for those of you who've run, you know what I'm talking about. Running is very difficult. It's tough on your family, tough on your finances, unless you run a major party, right? Then it isn't, because then they just pay you to run. You take your donations and just pay the guy to run. So if I go on a lower profile run, the problem is, do I make impact? Is it worth it? Right? Is it worth it for me and my family and my stress and everything to get a job where I'm not going to make any impact? I don't know. I'm open to the idea. One of the reasons, and people who don't live in New York State don't know this, the reason why I run for governor is it's the only way to achieve party status for the third parties in New York State. Other states don't have that rule. That is specific to New York State. If there is no, if that wasn't the case, I wouldn't have to run for governor. I could run for a Senate or a Congress or whatever, but I can't get on the ballot. The New York State Board of Elections will not let us on the ballot unless we achieve party status, which must be done by either a presidential or governor candidate. That's New York State law. And by the way, unique to New York State. So that's one of the reasons why you see me push this governor thing, because in my heart, Bill, I believe that the real answer is grassroots. Local is the key, right? I think it is the key, but I can't get people elected locally if we can't get on the ballot in the first place. So I have to run to get my 2%, which is the amount we need, 2%, so that the people at the other areas can get on the ballot and run and win. That's kind of why I've been focusing on this specific office, if that makes any sense. So your point's a valid one, and I'm open to hearing it. I just got to find the right answer. But that's why I focus on New York State. I hope I answered your question at least. So good to hear from you, brother. Good to hear from you. So, all right. Let's see if I can go here. Let's see here. Jeffrey, is this for me, Jeffrey? You still around? Don't you have a hole to burrow in for the next 3.5 years? I assume this is for me. If it isn't, let me know. But I think that's for me. If it is, then you're not paying attention, Jeffrey. I am the only person, the only one, who crosses New York State every single year. I go to every single county, all 62, every single year. And I have for the past 5 years. I have covered 5 full sharps. You have watched me cross this state and go to local diners, local gun shops, local vape shops, local every place. I still go to every single county every single year in New York State and visit and talk to people. And you can come talk to me when you want. I still do my show. I've been doing my show now for 6 years or so, whatever it is. I've been doing my show for this long. I was in the Gov Shack when I was running for office. So there is no hole. You're just not paying attention. You're accustomed to the people who use you, which is the Republicans say they're going to win, lie to you. They wait 2 years and then run again. Or Democrats say, we're going to help you, lie to you for 2 years, don't help you, and then run again. So if you're a Republican or Democrat, you're accustomed to the whole thing. I get it, because they put up new people every 2 or 4 years. Tell them, if you're a Republican in New York State, they say they're going to win. They're not. If they're a Democrat in New York State, they say they're going to help you. They won't. And then 2 or 4 years later, they pop up again. So I get, if this was for me, I don't know if it is for me, but if it is for me, I get why you would think that, but I'm not one of them. So that's why that would not be true for me. I hope that was clear. So yes. All right. See if I keep going down here. All right. Let's see. Oh, he's never been in the hole, bud. You're projecting. Thank you, Tim. That's true. Absolutely. Yes. 100%. And then Phil says, you're thinking about selling your campaign contributions to Iran. That's accurate. That's 100% accurate. Yes. Yes. It's true. 100%. So let me keep going down if I could. Let me grab let me show you the other part, which at this point We have to get. I'll go a little bit further here, and then I do want to show you what has to happen now, and it goes all the way back to Shelley's earlier piece, which is, will there be change?
Thank you so much. I was honored to be elected unanimously by
Honored.
my colleagues to be chairman of the NRCC. Look, the American people have spoken. They've given us the majority. They expect us to deliver on our promises, and we're going to do that as a team. And working together, we're going to grow this majority in 2024, and I'm excited to help lead that process. And I'm even more excited to introduce our next speaker, who is our new majority whip. The gentleman, I actually made one campaign promise.
I'm going to go right to McCarthy.
We're going to have to work together.
Work
And
together.
we want to work with anyone
Anyone.
that wants to make America stronger.
Now, here he said. Now, he has to say that because, again, he's only got 218, maybe 220 at max, right? So he needs a couple. So we're going to work with anybody. Anybody.
We want to work with anybody on both sides of the aisle.
Both sides.
If
Anybody.
they want to make America energy independent, give their parents a say in their kids' education.
So if they want to do exactly what the Republican agenda is, he has to say those things, right? He's got to say both. He must speak out of both sides of his mouth. I don't envy this guy. McCarthy's in trouble. And I don't know why he wants this position. I guess maybe he'll grift more, because why would you want to go into a position to where you're maybe going to have 2 or 3 people? And in theory, by the way, what happens if a bunch of Republicans physically get sick, or there's a snowstorm and they can't show up, and there's more Democrats than Republicans? How are you going to swing that in the vote system where they won't do proxy voting? They don't want proxy voting. So now people show up and you actually have a Democrat majority with no proxy voting.
Or secure our borders. Or stop defunding the police. We know there's challenges in this nation around the world.
And literally every Democrat's like, that's not us.
Listening to the American public, we are prepared to lead, regardless the size of the majority. One thing I've always learned, they don't hand gavels out in small, medium, and large. You get the right size gavel, and we will use it. With that, let's open it up for questions.
He has, and the questions he answers is nothing. He has no answers. And again, that goes back to the same thing. But let me go now to what I think is a harder piece, right? A more difficult piece. Here is Pelosi and her goodbye. Now, this to me is, I mean, look, I'm no fan of Pelosi. I think she was a terrible speaker. And I know some of you might like her. I don't mean to be insulting, because I think she was a terrible speaker. However, she's savvy, right? I don't want to take away the savviness. That still exists. She is still savvy.
My colleagues have bestowed upon me speaker, leader, whip. There is no greater official honor for me than to stand on this floor and to speak for the people of San Francisco. This I will continue to do as a member of the House, speaking for the people of San Francisco, serving the great state of California, and defending our Constitution.
Now, she's like, I'm defending the Constitution. Hers is the opposite, right? These Republicans don't like the Constitution. That's, and if you're a Democrat, if you're watching a Democrat, you're like, yeah, they don't, right? Because you believe that. Of course you do, right? So this is the opposite attack. That's the Republicans. They're the guys who are the enemies. We're the real Americans.
And with great confidence in our caucus, I will not seek re-election to Democratic leadership in the next Congress. For me, the hours come for a new generation to lead the Democratic caucus that I so deeply respect. And I'm grateful that so many are ready and willing to shoulder this awesome responsibility. Madam Speaker, standing here today, I'm endlessly grateful for all of life's blessings. For my Democratic colleagues whose courage and commitment with the support.
Now, why is that brilliant? You might go, well, Larry, she's just stepping down. No, she's literally saying the younger generation, which means nobody who works for a political enemy who's our age can get this, right? Younger generation, she's going to support him. She will still be in charge. To Shelley's point, she's not going anywhere. She's just not going to take an L, which is smart. And all of a sudden now, things are rocking and rolling for her. Now, could Trump have done this? He could have, but that's not where he is. That's not who he is. Could Trump have said, look, I did my best to start the ball rolling, right? And the America First movement is the movement of choice, what we have to work on. And so I'm going to make sure that I pick my guy, and my guy is blah, 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 whatever. He could have picked DeSantis or whomever. He could have said, you know, whatever, Lake from Arizona, at least Stefanik, whatever. He could have said whatever he wanted to say. This is the person who I think is the right person. You should, support him or her in the next election. She's going to take the America First movement forward, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's mind would have been blown. What? Imagine if Trump had done that. No taking of L's anymore, gracefully bowing out, and he would have still so much power. Because people who love Trump will still go out there, do his stuff. The people who love Trump still get to have Trump, but then they get to give it the power to somebody else. And no worries. But here's the second problem that most people don't realize. There's a chunk of Trump supporters who are the Q supporters, Q people, right? Those people, they're mad. They're mad. You might go, wait a minute. Larry, why are they mad? He just announced for president. Why would the Q people be mad? They should be happy. Their guy's coming back. No. They all thought he was going to be reinstated. I'm not joking. If you know Q people, they believe that. They were told that by whoever Q is or whatever that's going on. They were told that. They believed he was going to come back, right? He was going to get reinstated. They believe that. Now he's just admitted, I'm not getting reinstated. You got a bunch of pissed off Q people now. Would have been way better if you had said, well, then the other person's doing it because they're going to do it. And that's the new Q plan or whatever. So now you lost your Q people now. Well, I mean to lose them, but a bunch of them are pissed off now, right? And if you're Trump, you need every vote you can get. Even the Q people, you need them too. So he's not going to get them. So this is not going well for Trump is all I'm saying. And there are people who believe, I'm not sure it's true, but they believe that he's doing it because he thinks he's not going to get prosecuted. I don't know if that's true. And my gut would say Democrats hate Trump. They don't care what. They're gonna absolutely prosecute him to the best of their ability. They're gonna put him in jail. What Democrats don't want is Trump in jail. They want Trump running wounded. Because this is to your earlier point, right? Phil, if Trump doesn't run, well, then how can you do Orange Man bad? You can't. So the Democrats want Trump to run. They just want to be run very wounded. This is perfect for Democrats. There's no way Democrats are unhappy about this. They're like, wow, it's like Christmas early. I don't get my butt kicked in the 2022 elections in the midterms. I don't get my butt kicked. I take a little bit of a whipping, but it's a tiny little smack, but nothing big. Oh my God, awesome. And I thought I was going to get my butt kicked. Not too shabby. And then I got Trump fighting DeSantis, and Trump's running and he's wounded. Win-win. Nancy steps down. Hakeem Jeffries steps up. All those things. Good and good. Why do I say Hakeem Jeffries steps up? Because what Hakeem Jeffries did, who's brilliant. I mean, this guy's savvy too. I'm surprised how savvy he is. This guy says, this is Hakeem Jeffries.
Passed the torch to Brooklyn Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, 52, who has put together a diverse leadership team. Catherine Clark of Massachusetts and Pete Aguilar of California.
Checked all the
seen
boxes.
Here hugging Pelosi.
Look at that. Hugging. He's like, yeah, I got you. Yeah, he checked all the boxes. Hakeem Jeffries checked all the boxes and said, look, I got the boxes checked. So can I be leader now? And she's like, okay, I like the boxes checked. Will you be good to me and kiss my butt? He's like, 100%.
See, after her announcement, praised her in a tweet as the GOAT, greatest of all time.
Called Speaker Nancy Pelosi the GOAT. Not sure I would have used that word or acronym to describe her. However, I understand why he did. If Nancy Pelosi was making me speaker and throwing all that cash at me, I would probably call it a GOAT too. Just saying. If they were throwing me all the cash, they're throwing him. Yeah, I might call it a GOAT too. But
political pundit Basil Smichels.
So anyway, that's the savvy way of stepping down that Trump didn't do. But imagine if he did. Imagine if he did. He is gambling hard. If Trump is able to pull this out and win, he's the GOAT. I'm not sure he can. My gut says he can't even win the primary. And if he wins the primary somehow, I don't think he can win a general election anymore. I don't think he can. I feel like if you look around, there are so many people who just aren't excited about Trump anymore. If you go back to 2016, even 2020, there were a lot of people excited about Trump. I mean, I would see it all the time. Trump, I'd see the excitement everywhere. Now, I don't see it that much. I mean, there's still Trump supporters. People love him. That's still true. But it's a relative piece, right? I guess maybe this is Joseph's piece. That's maybe why I feel, Joseph, that he's kind of lost some of his juice. I don't see it as much And again, maybe it's the people I talk to, the places I go. I don't see the same oomph that I saw in 2016 or 2020. I saw a lot of it then. Now I see, I don't see the same. So I hope that was clear. Let me grab a couple more of these if I could. So, all righty. Nick says, New York State or any Democrat state lost U.S. citizens that vote, but is gaining hundreds of immigrants from Latin America, mainly from Venezuela and South America. So you're not 100% right. I'm an immigrant myself. Well, yes. However, the amount of people leaving, Nick, is far greater than those who are coming in. Plus, those who are leaving are mostly Republican or right-leaning voters. Those coming in initially don't vote, and then usually initially vote left, right? Most more newer immigrants tend to vote left. Once you've been in the country for a couple of generations, the movement shifts right. That's how it usually works. That's not a 100% rule. That is a good general rule, right? Most immigrants who are new to America, most of them tend to vote left. After a generation or two, they tend to start shifting towards right. But again, not 100% rule. It's a good general rule. But even so, new immigrants don't vote right away. And the people who are leaving are right-leaning people who are leaving, and those voters are leaving immediately. So there is a big change, if that makes any sense. So absolutely. All right. Let's see here. See if I can grab a couple more. Patty says, the fact that we the people cannot read body language or facial expressions makes me mad at us. It's a piece. Yes. So Dave says, translation, ladies and gentlemen, our long national nightmare is almost over. We need to increase Republican control House to 327 seats and give Republicans 67 seats in the Senate. Yes. Yes. It's true. Yep. So Patty says, no lie, my left friends are screaming, crying, and fear-mongering already. I'm already exhausted from their reaction. Oh, is that right? Oh. Yeah. Tim goes on, I'm starting to think the parties are not what they say they are. What? Impossible. Stop. Impossible, Tim. Why would you think that? Yes, that's good. Missy says, Trump didn't seem very passionate. We used to see him be passionate. I agree, Missy. I think you're right. And I don't know. Look, maybe Joseph knows something I don't know. But from me looking at it, I remember watching the Trump speeches thinking, this guy he's killing it. He's rocking the house. People are loving it. They're screaming at USA. He's got people going, right? Got to lock her up, all that stuff. Now, I don't see it, right? I don't see it. Really, I don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't see it. So Gene says, I voted Libertarian for POTUS. I was accused of electing Trump and then Biden. Don't we always elect the wrong person every time? Yes. Cody says, death penalty is for war crimes. Trump is guilty of this, and the Trump scene has caused plenty of people to die and needs to be held responsible for the international law. Ooh, interesting. All right, so maybe the vax crowd would be upset. Maybe. I agree. Death penalty is for war crimes. I agree. Maybe I'm off on this one, Cody. Maybe I've been wrong. It's possible I'm wrong on this one. I feel like people who don't like the vax are still going to be behind Trump because, I mean, clearly Democrats are absolutely for mandates and everything, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I've read this incorrectly. Maybe there's a third party going to pop in. It's possible. So, yes. Ryan says, many Republicans I know said that they would still support him if he just shut his mouth on Twitter and stopped doing so much BS. Ryan, you bring up a valid point. I was at Freedom Fest 2 years ago. And when I was on a center stage, people were asked that question. Hey, do you think it matters if Trump, wouldn't tweet so much? Would he have won the election? Blah, blah, blah. And I said, look, here's what I know about 2020. What I know well is a lot of Republicans in New York City. There aren't many of them, but I know many of them that are in New York City. And even some Democrats who lean kind of right-ish relative to New York City. So that's a relative statement I just made. And many of them would say to me all the time, man, can't someone just take his phone away? And people would laugh. Like hardcore people who love Trump would go, that's dumb. His policies are great. Why do they care about his tweets? I heard the opposite. Where people say, oh, that's stupid. And I would tell these people, you got to remember something. Politics is emotional. People don't like mean tweets. You can think it's dumb. You can be mad at them. You can say they're wrong. All you want. It affects how they vote. People don't like mean tweets. They just don't. It's clear. So Ryan, I think you have a point there. I really think you do. and maybe he's trying that. Okay, but is that the right thing? Right? I think you may be right. That's what he's trying. My question is, I feel like it's too late. It's like trying to put the genie back in the bottle. I don't know if he can. So I don't know. John says, what happens if Trump says he wants to run as libertarian? People say this all the time. People are like, well, Trump will go third party. Let me tell you from personal experience, that third party is not the right answer. Third party's hard. I know, John. So he thinks he's running third party. He didn't run third party. And there's absolutely no way Trump gets libertarian nomination. No, I'll bet money on that. No way. I mean, look, Libertarian Party has made some really bonehead moves in the past. That's true. Guilty as charged. We have been a disaster many times. Guilty as charged. Not Trump. We're not going there. So Trump's not getting it. So, but yeah, so he won't get it. Anyway, so yes. Trump says, Diane said just announced she's running against Jill Biden in 2024. Oh, good for her. She's running again. Good for her. Rock and roll. Good for her. I like that. I'm going to have to give her a call. Thank you, Joseph. That's good. Zeldin the chair. He is going for the chair. Ron says Trump is played out. I got to tell you, Ron, there's a lot of people who think that. Many people I know who are right-leaning, they say the same thing. They say, look, I don't want Trump to run, but if he's a nominee, if he actually wins, I would still vote for him in 2024. Ron, I think most Republicans feel that. That's my gut. I have no evidence, so take it for whatever you want to take it. This is just my gut feeling that most Republicans would rather not have Trump, but if he's a nominee, they will jump on board, right? Because they'd rather have Trump than any Democrat. So I think most Republicans are where you are. They're like, yeah, look, give us somebody else. But if he wins, I guess Trump 2024. That's how I feel most of them are. I think that's right. So the Scientific Libertarian says, I would not mind Justin Amash, Jared Polis 2024 as lieutenant president candidates. It's not a bad deal. The first congressman with a Democrat libertarian governor who just pushed the U.S. march from Colorado would be pretty awesome. You know what? This is not bad. The issue is, I don't know if the issue is, would Polis take second fiddle when he's a sitting governor and Amash has only been a congressman? It'd probably be a Polis Amash ticket. If that makes any sense, even though Justin is the actual libertarian. Look, I'm not against people who are coming in and doing that. However, there's a massive however here. I would like them to join the party first. Right? People are like, we got to bring Tulsi Gabbard to be our nominee. No. Tulsi Gabbard went Republican, but if she wants to become libertarian, great. Become a libertarian first. Join our party first. Be with us. Help us out. Grow with us. Meet us. Then maybe. But you can't just be like, I've been a Republican for 20 years. I'll be a Democrat 20 years. Okay, great. Can I be a libertarian now? No. Some people don't like Amash. Some people do. Here's the respect I'll give Amash. He's a libertarian. He joined our party and didn't just go, I'll be president now. So if he was running 2024, he's been a libertarian for 4 years, at least. An official libertarian 4 years. He's been in the party. He shows up at our events. He went to our last convention. He is one of us. That's the right way of doing it. So if Amash wants to run, great. If Polis wants to run, great. Join our party then first. Be part of us. Be with us. And then decide. Look, I paid my dues too. I never heard you ran for governor. Great. I was part of the party in 2012. I was writing checks to people in 2012. I wasn't running that. I was the guy writing checks. I wasn't receiving the checks. I was writing the checks. I was writing checks then. 2014, I was our gubernatorial candidate. I was his driver, and I was writing checks. So I was putting in the time. I was raising money for people. I was supporting our senatorial candidate, right? I was doing that work. I was in the party before I ran. I didn't run since 2018, so I was in the party 6 years before I ran. So just so you know, I didn't just walk and go, I'm the guy. Hi. And I don't mind people come. Polis can come. Anybody. I'll take anybody that can come in, but just join the party first. Be with us. See who we are. Give. Join. Then let's see if you're the right person to take a big position. I don't mind that, but just join first. So do I want all of a sudden in 2024 we go, hey, let's draft this guy who's a Democrat? No. If he wants it, I'm okay with it. Running for it. Go ahead. Join the party next week. Stay with us for 2 years. Help our people grow. Write a check or give us some donors. Whatever. Do the thing. Talk about our way of life. Do something. Help Spike Cohen with his stuff. You are the power. Do that. Do something. Then I'm open to the idea. I hope that's clear. I'm not against him at all. I don't want us just grabbing somebody. I think it's the wrong way. We've done it in the past. It's almost always been a mistake. I think it will be a mistake again. So, yes. So, Dave says, Iowa's the same way. 2% of either presidential governor's race, 3% of Secretary of State won't do it. There we go. So, there we go. That's why we run for governor all the time, for that. So, yes. All right. Let's see here. Is a full shop like the full Grassley here in Iowa? Literally, we stole it from Grassley. Yes. For those you don't know, we stole that from Grassley. The full, and Iowa is funny. Iowa has like 99, if I'm right, Dave, I think it has 99 counties. And some of them are tiny counties. So you got to go to 99 to go to every one of them. And Grassley would go to all of them. He'd visit every one of them. It was called the full Grassley. So yes, we literally stole it from him. I'm giving Grassley full credit. We stole it from him, Dave. You're correct. Nicely caught me stealing stuff. But yep, I was stealing. And that's why we call it the full sharp, because I decided I was going to go to every single county every year. And I have. And I will start again next year. Probably in February and March, I'll begin it again. And I will cross New York State again next year. It'll be the 6th time. I'll do it again because I'm not giving up yet. I know some of you wish I would, but I haven't given up yet. So we'll see. I haven't given up yet. We'll see what happens, though. So anyway, so thank you for that. Tim says savvy means evil. Who knew? Very good. I like that. Very good. I love that. Very good. All right. Let's see here. Glenn, cue the government psycho. Do you think it is, Glenn? See, I've never known, right? Is that a real thing or not? I don't make a decision on Q. I have no idea what the hell it is. To be forward with you, I'm not attacking it. I don't know, right? It's not my thing. I'm not into the Q stuff at all. But I've had people tell me that, oh, it's the government doing a psych op to screw people up. And then other people say, no, it's this guy from, was it 4chan? Someone told me this guy from 4chan who's doing that. Maybe, I don't know. But if it's a psyop, it's an amazing one, Glenn. You got to admit it. If it is, I mean, well done, right? If that would surprise me, the government does something well. Because if it is a psyop, it's awesome. It's very good. If it is, so there we go. All right. Jim says, I found you on the Forward Party site 2 days before the election and wrote you in. Oh, thank you, Jim. I don't trust the reps, and Hochul strikes me as an unready at best. Agreed. I was glad I'm another choice, even if it did piss off my wife. Look forward to hearing about your policy ideas. Well, Jim, I'm happy to talk about them. I'm actually going to have some people coming on the Sharp Way coming up here to discuss that. I have Republican Newsmax guy coming on next week, as well as a Democratic person who ran for Senate. Another guy who's a pro-labor union guy, as well as a guy who's a homeschooler. So I'm going left and right all over the place. I have a bunch of conversations with people from all over the place because I think it matters a lot, right? And thank you for that. Those who got mad at me who were like, Larry, why are you talking to the Forward Party? Because the Forward Party was open to endorse, and I'm open to the biggest tent possible. So that's why I was on a stage with Yang this summer talking about it. He actually endorsed me, and it was important. So Yang endorses me, and New York State won't get me on the ballot. What a state we live in. Yes. So James says, if goat actually means an animal that gets sacrificed for the greater good, then yeah, she's a goat. That's actually funny, James. I like that. Yes. That's very good. All right. Shelley goes on to say, when you have to abbreviate goat because Pelosi would have thought it was an animal farm, a farm animal. Yeah. You're right. Yes. Absolutely. All righty. LarrySharp.com/policy, but it's nicer to watch the shows. That's true. All my stuff's on policy is there. I have a bunch of videos on YouTube if you care. I actually do, by the way, if you care about policy, I did 8 hours straight of policy a couple of weeks ago. You can look for Larry Sharp, 8-hours policy. It'll pop right up. So yeah, you will see that. Absolutely. Yeah. Daniel says there are a lot of people, me included, who did not vote for Trump in 2020. He spent, and did not go after the Fed at all. That's true. He did well with the economy and foreign policy. A lot of people think it was too toxic for the country now. You know, I got to tell you, his foreign policy was nowhere near as bad as people thought it was. It wasn't that bad. It really wasn't. No new wars. Don't get me wrong. All presidents have bad foreign policy. This is relative, right? Relative to others, Trump wasn't bad at all. Peace treaties, not bad. No wars, not bad. He made the plan to get out of Afghanistan. That was his plan to get out of Afghanistan. He made a plan to get out of Afghanistan. Not bad. So yeah, 4 years. I'm not complaining. Opened up North Korea, total North Korea. I'm not mad at Trump's foreign policy. I know people are, and people get mad at me. Oh, Trump. And I'm not mad. When I compare his foreign policy to others, wasn't that bad at all. So yes. All righty. Jonathan says definitely time to end the era of Pelosi and Trump. Thanks for what you do. Thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate that, brother. Yes. And look, I do think that this problem, let me cover that piece. Thank you for bringing that up. I do think there's something to this. I think Nancy Pelosi stepping down is an end to an era of that age of people running things. I think you'll see Dianne Feinstein be next. I think you'll see that guy, I've forgotten his name now, Claiborne. You'll see him go down next. You will see a bunch of them just end it. It's their time is over. Now, to Shelley's point, you would think, well, great. That means now new stuff. I don't know. Because Hakeem Jeffries is not going to make the socialist arm of the Democratic Party happy. He's not going to do that. He's going to be much more of a traditional, let's just keep spending money and we'll give lip service to, minorities and just spend money. I feel like he's going to be that, which the Democratic Party basically is, right? The Democrats will talk a lot of game about helping minorities all day long. They'll discuss it. They'll virtue signal all day long. They virtue signal better than anybody. Do they actually help? No. But they will virtue signal all day long. Look, here's someone who looks like not white. Look, another one. See? We love you. Oh, you're still poor and broke and in jail? Yeah. But look, this person doesn't look like a white guy. They do that very well, but that's all they do. I don't think I hope that would change. I do think this is the number one battle for Trump. If he pulls this out of, if he is on poise for defeat right now. It doesn't mean he'll lose. If anyone can pull this out, it's Trump, if there's someone who can. My gut tells me he can't. I think Trump's finished. That's what my gut tells me. But I could be wrong. I didn't think he'd be the president, so I was totally wrong on that one. So he might prove me wrong again. If he does pull out of this, I mean, the party is his, and whatever he says is what it is. That's what it is. If he doesn't, I think the party falls back to being, again, a status quo party. I don't see the Liberty Caucus doing anything. I wish it would. I really do. The Democrats now have a new thing. Oh my God, what's it called? I'm gonna see if I can bring it up. Is it the Democratic Freedom Caucus or Democratic Liberty Caucus or something like that? I forgot what it's called. I think Democratic Liberty, and they're trying to be more like, Polis out of Colorado, trying to pull that wing out, which is not a bad idea. I hope Democrats can do it, but I feel like it's going to fail like Republican caucuses fail. I don't know if these caucuses can actually do anything. Anyway, I went down a long road. So there we go. All right. Scott says, not interested in a mandate because I don't date men. Well, there we go. Well, maybe you can call it a mandate with your best buddy, Scott. You can do that. I get that. Yes, absolutely. Let's see here. Daniel goes on. Tulsi said on Joe Rogan that with current laws that got changed around Perot's time, it makes it literally impossible for a third party to win president. Yeah, and I'll give you guys a little bit of inside baseball. Sadly, most libertarians that didn't get this, but people who were savvy did get this. 2018, I had run the biggest, most aggressive, most expensive third-party campaign in the country, right? In 2018. That was not the case in 2022, sadly. But that's what happened in 2018. And the powers that be actually noticed it. They really did. Shame on me for not realizing how much they noticed it. I wish I had seen it coming. I was not prepared to defend against it, but there were some signs. And one of those signs were people who were considering third-party runs called me. How do you think Forward knows who I am? The guy, remember when Schultz was going to run independent? Tulsi Gabbard's team, when she was considering independence. They all called me up. They're like, Larry, give us some insight. What happens? How do you do it? Blah, blah. And I gave them all the insight. And I was very open. Here's how hard it is. Me doing that, I was hoping, silly me, again, sometimes when I'm wrong, it's often because I put too much confidence in the humanity of the establishment. And I really have to stop doing that. I hope some of you will scold me if I do it again. The establishment is not human. It's a machine and doesn't care about people or humanity at all. It just isn't. Individual people have humanity. The establishment machine has none. And so as I told them, here's how it works. Here's how hard it is. Here's what you have to do. They all stopped. They all said, I can't do this. I'm like, I know. It's freaking impossible. It's impossible. I said, here's how you do it. Join the Libertarian Party. Be a Libertarian. See how we are. If you like us, we have the infrastructure. We can make this work. We can actually do it, right? Other parties can't. Greens can't do it. Constitution Party can't do it. Veterans Party can't do it. None of them do it. The American Solidarity Party can't do it. None of these parties have been able to get 50 state ballot access. Only we have, right? Only we have. So I told them that. They were like, you know what? We're going to walk away. And they did. So Tulsi's correct. She knows. Her team had, Tulsi didn't talk to me personally, but our team did. So they had debriefed her effectively. It is impossible. I mean, the idea of Trump doing, no, not going to happen. So thank you, Daniel. You are correct. Absolutely. Yes. Dave says, unlike other libertarians, Amash did not endorse Republicans or say I would drop out and endorse Republican. Yes, as neither would I, Dave. Even in my hardest piece, I got beat up all day and I still didn't drop. Of course I did. Of course not. So yes, of course. But look, I got to say that, right? If you think about that now, right? Think about what happened. That guy in Arizona, Mark Victor, right? Literally, he dropped out and endorsed the other guy. And what happened? He still got 2% of the vote. It's what I told all you guys who were yelling, Larry, why don't you drop out and endorse Zeldin and get my Zeldin? People, they're libertarians. They don't listen to you. They're libertarians. I can't order my followers to vote for someone else. They would never do it because I ordered them. They'd be like, shut. They would hate me. They would do the opposite because I ordered them to do so. There's no way they would do it. It doesn't work. We're voluntarists. Is what we are. I could ask them to. Yeah. I could ask them, I guess, in theory. But they're not going to do it. And Mark's for example. Mark said, hey, he's my guy. He's the right guy. I did a video with him. And they went, we don't care. We're voting for Mark anyway. And he still got 2% of the vote. Number one. Number two, how does Mark feel now? I bet Mark feels fine. You might say, well, Larry, he got screwed. No, Mark got something from this. I believe he did. Oh, I'm sorry. He will feel bad because he believes he got something from it. Mark probably thinks, well, I've kissed the Republican ring, so now I'll get to be a Republican and they'll raise money for me or something. I doubt that. What you have to realize is politics is the mob. It's the mafia. That's what it actually is. Who's going to enforce your contracts? It's the mob. Do you have boots on the ground? Do you have an ability to fight? Can you put troops into the field? Can you put your mobsters on the streets with machine guns? And I mean that not literally, figuratively. You do that. Now, me being silly and not being as aggressive as I could have been, I had 6% of New York State voters. So that's a nice chunk of people I could put into the field. And I did not take advantage of that at all. Lesson learned. Mark has nothing. He has no leverage. He has no leverage. So when they screw him over, he's gonna be like, oh, I got screwed. Yeah, so there you are, Mark. You stabbed your own part in the back. You hurt every other person running. And what'd you get from it? Nothing. You got screwed. Your guy lost, and you got bent over. Oh, you haven't got bent over yet. You probably think you're going to get something. You will get bent over a year or two from now. I'm trying to run. You get screwed over. Then you know you got bent over. So I got my ass whipped, but I didn't get bent over. That's all I can say. All you guys who ran out and voted Republican, thought Zeldin was going to win, you guys got bent over. I just got ass whipping. There's a difference. That's all I'm saying. What I would say is, or maybe I would respond with, at the end of this election, many of us lost. I was standing on my feet. Some of you were on your knees. That's how this election ended. But we all lost. Some of us were standing on our feet. Some of us were on our knees. I was on my feet when I got my ass kicked. That's what I would tell you. I went out on my shield. I had my sword in hand. Some of you had something else in your hand. Wasn't a sword. That's all I'm going to say. I'll leave it at that. So yes, I would not be dropping out. Yes. So Dave said just 99 counties. Thank you. Yes, it was 99. I appreciate that. Absolutely. Yes. So, Ryan says, who should be the gold candidate for 2024, though? Spike won't do it, but he should. I get it completely. Totally, I completely get it. I get why Spike doesn't want to run. It's not easy, guys. If you've run, you understand. If you haven't, it's hard to do it, babe. It's so hard on your family and everything else. And look, you take your L publicly, right? All of us take L's. All of us do, right? We all take losses in our life. We all fall down. We all get embarrassed. But when we get hammered, right? When we get hammered publicly, it's harder and it stays forever. This stays, right? The L I take stays for a long time. It's just how it works. So it's hard for people to do it. So I do appreciate it. I get it completely, right? I do get it. So anyway, let me did I answer your question even? I'm sorry, what was your question? Let me see if I can find it here. Who should be you know what? I want somebody who is popular. That's what I want. I was hoping that I would do better in my election so that I'd be more popular so I could call people up and they would take my phone call. I want somebody popular. My goal for 2024, I don't want to jinx it. There's always a chance for victory, but that's not what I'm looking for, right? That'd be awesome, but I'm not looking for that. What I want our party to do next year, in 2024, is to get some electoral votes, whether that's a chunk of Maine, a chunk of Nebraska, Utah, Wyoming. I don't care. I would like gold to be on the board in 2024, somewhere on the board in the states. Why? Because they show that map all the time. And when they show some gold on a map, you go, what's that gold piece? Is that Utah? Is that Wyoming? Is that Maine? Whatever. I don't care. Is that New Hampshire? Whatever. Is that New Hampshire? Yeah. Oh, that's the Libertarians. Oh. I have just helped every down ticket candidate across the country. Because the biggest thing we get is, you guys can't win. Oh, yeah, what's that gold on the map? What's that gold on the map then? What's that? We can win. So that's what I want. And I think somebody popular, the more popular, again, this is a popularity contest. The more popular person is, the more I want them. So if they're popular, I'm in. Would I take a VP slot? I would consider doing the VP because the VP slot in this case is just support staff. And I'm happy to be support staff. I am. The presidential election is not about the VP. It's about the president. My name isn't on the door, if that makes any sense. So if somebody wants me, who's popular, wants me as a VP, I would be open to a VP slot, but I'm not open to the presidential slot. Maybe one day if I get more popular, maybe, but you've got to be someone popular. I would love someone like Vince Vaughn. He's a libertarian. Drew Carey. Anyone who's popular. Whoever's the most popular libertarian in 2024, who will say, if they're the most popular and will say yes, that is my guy or gal. I don't care if it's male, female, don't care. That's what I care about. Hope that makes sense to you. That's my goal. So yes. All right. Let's see here. Joseph, can you supplement donations to the Sharp Way podcast with advertising? You know what? I can. And why don't you help me out? My sponsors. theadvocates.org, the world's smallest political quiz. Why don't you head on over there right now, Joseph, and help me out. Take the world's smallest political quiz. And once you take it, share the results, right? Share it out there. Let people know, let people see it. You want to do that? I'm doing it right there. Do that. Please do that. Make them happy. Why does this quiz matter? Why do I push this quiz every day? Do I push this quiz on you? Because this quiz is simple, it's short, and it gets people to think. And you can have a good conversation. Look, Turkey Day is coming up here. You might go to your family's house, have a conversation. Instead of going, I'm a libertarian, or I'm a conservative, or I'm a Republican, whatever you're going to say. Don't say those things. Go, hey, what do you think about? And talk about this quiz. I took this quiz, and they talked about the draft. What do you think about the draft? Now you're having a conversation, and you're not saying, I'm left, I'm right. This is a good quiz. It's cool to take. It's fast. Your friends can take it, family can take it. Share it around. So yes, Joseph, I can. But if you do want to supplement, you can do that too. If you like what I'm showing you, if you like what I'm saying, patreon.com/sharpway. Let me $10 a month. It keeps this stuff going. It keeps everything going. It makes this worthwhile for everybody to do. So please do if you can. Larry, I love you, but I don't have any cash. No worries. Like, comment, share. All of that matters to move me past the algorithms. It does matter. So to answer your question, Joseph, yes, I can supplement him. So do all three. Do all three. Like, comment, share, take the quiz, and throw me $10 a month. All good. I'm on this damn screen like 5 times a week now, giving you cool stuff. So yeah, it's worth $10, isn't it? What's that? 5 times 4, 20 shows. Come on, it's 20 shows. 50 cents a show. They're cheap. Come on. Plus, I do Libertarians Drinking Coffee Live. I do that once a week and show you libertarians. And I do a free solution once a week. That's my radio show. So I'm doing Sharp Way like 5 times a week. Libertarians Drinking Coffee Live at least once a week. And a free solution once a week. You're getting all kind of shows. Look at you. It's a steal. Should be $20 a month. Not 10. 25. Not 10. You guys are robbing me. Anyway, I'm kidding. I hope that answers your question. I do hope that answers your question. All righty. So let me show you why the Democrats are going to have a problem right now, because this is the one, the only, our president, Joe Biden, and answering this question.
That Americans are frustrated. And in fact, 75% of voters say the country is heading into the wrong direction, despite the results of last night. What in the next 2 years do you intend to do differently to change people's opinion of the direction of the country, particularly as you contemplate a run for president in 2024?
Nothing, because they're just finding out what we're doing.
There we go. This is, Shelley was like, hey, this is a change. What did Biden say? What are you going to change? Nothing. Literally just said it. Nope, not a thing. Biden feels like he's on top of the world right now. He's like, what are you going to do? Nothing. Same. Ask Hochul. You think Hochul's going to change? People are like, well, Zone came close. That'll give Hochul a message. Stop. Just stop. Stop with your cope. New York State Republicans, stop with your cope. Just stop. Zeldin's trying to become the RNC chair for the country. Even he's leaving New York. Stop. It's done. She didn't learn anything. Stop. So I wish you guys would just realize New York State will go gold before it goes red. Josh Hawley said, this is the end of the Republican Party. In New York State, he's correct. I don't know if that's true across in his state. He's in what? He's in Missouri? I think he's Missouri. Maybe Missouri too, I don't know. But New York State, that's true. So just no. So he's doing nothing. So I hope that makes sense. He's doing nothing. He doesn't care. He's doing nothing. It's all done. It's all done. So yeah, that's not really going to work well. So let me grab. Let's see here. Jessica Vaughn, 2024. Look, Josh, I love Jessica. I love her. If she wants to run, yes. Is she old enough? I don't know. She looks young. She's a model and beautiful. So who knows that maybe she just looks good because she knows how to make herself up. I don't know. But I don't know how old she is. She wants in, I'm in. I don't care. Popular is what I matter. I wasn't kidding when I said that. If she's popular and she wants to run, Vaughn Sharp 2024. I'm in. I'm totally fine with it. I'm not joking. I'm very serious. I want someone who's popular. I think that's the way that we move this thing forward. I really do. I think that's the way. Yes. Juan says, yes, well, Democratic Freedom Caucus. Thank you. Some libertarians who are upset with the Mises Caucus joined this group. Thank you. That's what it is. Yeah, I'm trying to get someone from the Freedom Caucus to talk to me. It's not a bad idea, right? Having a Freedom Caucus in the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. It might be a good idea. I don't know how well it will work. You know, if I look at the caucus right now, the most popular caucus, I think, in the Democratic Party now is DSA, Democratic Socialists of America. It's working well. Like, they are getting stuff done. They're moving people in. They're organizing well. You know, Democrats organize well. If you're not a Democrat, you may not want to hear that, but it's true. They organize well. It's one of their skill sets. They really do organize well. So if they're able to get a Freedom Caucus, that will be amazing. I hope they can, right? I'm open to talk to anybody. So I hope it does work. And there we go. Yes. Dan says, Democrats don't just vote signal about minorities. They continue to war on drugs. Yes. Which has been the single greatest green light for police brutality in history. Yes. They continue with policy to destroy black families. Yes. Democrats aren't just not on the right track. They are on the wrong track for black people. Dan, yes, and yes. You're correct. I guess I was trying to be too nice. You are correct. Yes, absolutely. So, all righty. Shelly says, who are you interviewing regarding homeschooling? I have a person in mind. We don't have a date yet. I will let you know when the time comes. I tend to put these things out about 2 or 3 days ahead, because I want to be able to swap and do something topical. If that makes any sense, Shelley. If I schedule my people too easy, then too often, then I'm not able to shift in case something else pops up. So that's why I often don't do that. That makes any sense. So, all right. See if I can go in here. The scientific libertarian says Democrats beat the libertarians to crypto money laundering. There we go. I think that shows a pretty clear value on the libertarian part of the issue. Valid point. Check and mate. Absolutely. Yes. JRTS says, what do you think the LP needs to do to improve the opportunities to make a bigger impact in politics? We have to have two things, which we're not really good at. One is knowing how to support the one big guy. That's one piece. And the second part is building out infrastructure that is not only activist based. Let me cover two of those things. They're two separate pieces. The Libertarian Party was built as an activist party, which is awesome. We need activists, and our activists provide a very important service for our movement. We have some of the best activists, better than Democrats, Republicans often. Our activists are very good. But we need more of them, obviously. And we also need them to be better at actually getting into government. That's the part they often can't do well. Why? Because we don't have the other aspect of a good party. We also need better volunteers. We have, but they're not as good as our activists. And they're on and off, and they're iffy. We don't have enough of them. We also have enough good candidates. We need that too. And a better donor base. We need all of these things. So we have lots of activists, and they're good, but we don't have enough. We need more activists. But by percentage, we have too many activists because we don't have enough of everybody else. So we have to still keep growing our activist base, but then support them with all the rest of these people. Because if you got a couple of good candidates, the activists can get the candidates to do the right things, right? The activists can push the candidates into the right place. Candidates are not activists. They're separate animals. Often we overlap. So that's piece one. We're going to be better at building out all the other things: donor base, volunteer base, candidate base. We're getting better, but it's slow. And because, again, as I mentioned, running as libertarian, you're going to take an L. At least one, if not many. And a lot of people don't want to take the L. They take it once and they're done. It hurts. Right? You're publicly getting your ass kicked. This is not a very warm, fuzzy feeling. Some people can put up with it and keep going, and I love it, right? Some people can. Some people, it's too much for them, right? So I get it. So that's piece one. Piece two is when we have a critical race, we don't get behind it. We're still worried about our own local things. We should be throwing all our money into certain races that will get us the most press and the most legitimacy. What we need more than anything else is legitimacy. And that makes some libertarians angry when I say it, but it's true. If we're legitimate, people will give us money, and that matters tremendously. And people will cover us in mainstream press. You may go, why does mainstream press matter? Because people who vote watch mainstream press. That's the issue. If you read your local newspaper, you read, right? That's an issue. So we have to make sure that we do that. And it's hard. That means like when Ricky Harrington Jr. was running. Why weren't we all over him, right? I tried to be. I must have interviewed him like 3 or 4 times, right? I wanted to be on because I thought it was a big deal. He was getting press. He was doing good stuff. He's getting 20-30% of the vote. We didn't give him anything. We didn't really jump on him as we should have. When I was running in 2018, this year, when I was running on the ballot, I mean, I got, compared to last time, I got almost no support. It was very hard. People weren't behind me in this. And well, we got to know about ballot acts in other states. I'm like, it's New York. And people walked away from it. So I think those two issues, we fix those two, we'll be better off. So what matters more than anything else, people get upset about, well, the memes are bad. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. I don't mean to be mean. They don't. We care more than anybody else. How do I know? I'm out campaigning. And when I'm out campaigning, literally nobody goes, Larry's going to vote for you, but there's memes. Nobody said that. Like nobody did. The people who said the memes are bad were other libertarians in other states. But in my state, no, literally, I ran a year's campaign. It was a crappy one, but I ran a year campaign. No one said, but the memes, nobody said that. Not one person. And no New Yorker said it online. Other state libertarians are like, you got to denounce memes because that's critical. It's not critical. It's not critical. You know, what I get more hell from is what was public in mainstream media. So 2 things I get hell from still to this day. naked dancing guy, and Aleppo. I'm not joking. I get those two things because those two things were mainstream media. That's what I get the most pushback when it comes to that kind of stuff. Every whatever, the memes or the platform. Nobody even reads our platform. They don't even care. Other libertarians do. But the people voting in New York, nobody cared. Nobody even mentioned it. Wasn't even a thing. So I know people think that's important. It isn't. It isn't. I know people are mad about platform. I know. I don't care. And I know people hate when I say it. I don't care. I don't care. The Republicans don't even have a platform. I'm not joking. The Republican Party didn't make a platform. Their platform was whatever Trump says. Literally, that's not an exaggeration. They did not have a platform. Their platform was Trump say. That's our platform. So, yes. And now the Republican platform is Democrats are terrible. That's their platform. Democrats are horrible. I mean, they're not wrong, but that's their platform. So, yes. All right, let me see if I can grab a couple of these if I can. Thank you guys for all this. I appreciate it. Pieces, I love it. I love when Larry gives us some inside baseball. I try to, right? I try to. I've got to keep going to the best of my ability. I try to. Gene says, don't tell me what to do. Thank you. Yes, Gene. That's us. That's exactly us. Yes, absolutely. All right. Juan says, I think Trump can easily beat Biden in 2024, but he can't beat the I Hate Trump coalition who voted him out in 2020. I'm not sure what that means. I think that's Biden, right? Am I wrong? I feel like most people didn't vote for Biden. They voted against Trump. I don't like Trump, so I'm going to go vote for him, for this Biden guy. Right? But before he became president, it was very hard to hate Biden. People didn't like him, didn't care about him, but it was difficult. You had to try to hate him, right? That's why they attacked his son so much. Easy to hate Hunter. Very hateable character. Easy to hate Hunter. Not easy to hate Biden. Oh, sorry. Now it is because now he's president. But prior to him being president, it was a challenge to hate him. You might not like him. Easy to hate Hillary. Easy to hate Trump, right? Easy to love Hillary. Easy to love Trump. Both of those two. Easy on both of those two. Not easy to love Biden. Not easy to hate Biden. Now I think it's changed because now he's in president. But prior to president was tough. So they were all mad at Hunter Biden instead. The I hate Trump people are still there. They haven't gone away. I don't know. So anyway. All right. Tim said he got consideration from the Republican Party in the future. Typical manipulation tactic. Yeah, correct. You're right, Tim. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. That's very funny. Dave says, Mike Franzese, am I saying that right? Franzese wrote a book called Mafia Democracy. Yeah, it's the same thing. That's what it is. 100%. Dave says government is the mob. Yes. Yes. Pay to play. 100%. Yes. All right. Pete says some got the high hard one. Yes, they did. Correct. Absolutely. Yes. Dave says, wish the failed red wave would have woke Trump up. I'm not the only one who refused to vote for Trump. He already lost to Biden one time, would happily vote for DeSantis, but not Trump. I think a lot of people think that. I agree with you. I think you're part of a larger wave of Republicans. I think that's true. I see it often and I hear it now too. Absolutely. So Dave says Amash shop 2024. If Amash wants to run, happy to have him run. If he wants to be his VP, happy to be it. But he has not mentioned any of that publicly or to me. So, but fine, whatever, all good. I'm okay doing the VP thing, not the president thing. Just maybe another time. So yes. Josh says Jessica Vaughn, how can the media ignore her? I agree. Tough to ignore Jessica. She's a beautiful woman. Tough to ignore her. I agree. Tough to ignore. So yes, I'm in. Jessica, if you're watching, if you're running, let me know. Vaughn Sharp, I'm in. Let's do it. I love that. So, all right. Patty said, Joe said in 2020, nothing will fundamentally change, and he stuck to that campaign promise. Oh, nicely done. See, he's being honest, Patty. He stuck to his campaign. What do you do? Nothing. What'd you do? Nothing. There we go. Perfect. I love that. That's very good. Nothing changed. That's very good. All right. And again, Gene goes on. Nothing unites Democrats more than hatred of Trump. I agree completely. Yeah, 100%. Dan says, when Harry Brand ran for president, the LP under the leadership of Perry Willis started Project Archimedes. Oh, I don't know. This is 2000 or 96? 96? 96, right? An attempt to grow party members, paid membership, who are more likely to donate. This resulted in the party quadrupling its membership. A great start to having a membership big enough to fund visible campaigns. Yes. You had a subsequent party leadership lost focus on raw numbers of donors. There are tons of libertarian thinkers in the country, even self-identifies libertarian. I agree. I think membership in a party matters. That's the power, right, of being a party, right? Is that you are a part of a member, right? That's the issue. You're a member of the party. You are a member of it. I think it does matter. I agree. And I cannot. People tease me sometimes, go, Lion, would you take money from so-and-so? Would you take money from so-and-so? Yes. I don't care who the person is. If I had enough money, I would have made the ballot and everything would have changed. Money was a critical part. Those of you who don't know the story, there were many reasons why we failed in ballot access. It wasn't just one. But there was one that was like the first domino that kind of made everything else fall. I was promised $30,000 from the national LP. This is before the Mises takeover, right before. And I was very forward in what I wanted. I said, either give me the money up front or don't. Either one. But don't like give me a little bit, because they would like, well, what if we just give you X if you do Y? I was like, no. If you do that, then what will happen is I'll be stuck promising people stuff. If they don't do good enough, I'm not going to have the money to pay them. I'm going to be in a very bad spot. So please don't do that. Either tell me you're not going to give me the money and I will find some other place to get it, or give me the money straight up front. And they went, you know what? We give you all up front. A week before they changed their mind. Didn't tell me till 5 days before. So I was 5 days before starting petitioning, $30,000 in a hole. How do I recover from that? So I was $30,000 behind every week. And you might go, well, Larry, so you fall behind a week. When you only have 6 weeks to get 45,000 shares, nothing else can fail. Like, it had to be perfect. So when that failed, then a bunch of other decisions had to be made that were bad decisions because I had no money. So I made a series of bad decisions based off of that one. So that wasn't the only reason why it failed. There were many reasons why it failed. But that was a critical one because that caused me to make, it's the wrong answer. Because of that, there were so many. And if they had either just said, we're not giving you the money, okay, I wouldn't have counted on it, or said, yes, here's the money. So I would take money from almost anybody. Literally, if they're teasing me, right? They go, oh, you were a Hochul plant, right? If Democratic people would have given me money hoping I was going to beat up Zeldin, I would have taken it. I'd have taken whatever money from anybody. If you would have given me money so I could get on the ballot, I would have taken it. The only difference is I wouldn't have hidden it. You would have known. You'd been mad at me. Why are you taking money from this lefty guy? I'd be like, here's why. I took the money from the lefty guy, and here's why. I would have totally done it. Yes. You can be mad at me. Tell me whatever you want. I'm telling you up front, I would have taken it. I would have told you all. I would have lied straight up. But this guy's a Hochul guy or something. I'd be like, yep. You get a ballot. Yes. So I agree with you completely. Donors are key. I wish it wasn't true. I wish this wasn't the issue, but it is. Absolutely. So yes. So Michael says, I love the memes. There we go. See? Memes everywhere. There we go. Morgan, have the best memes. We do have a lot of memes. It's true. We do have a lot. Absolutely. So, all righty. Let's see if I keep going down here. Josh is a mosh for House Speaker. You know, people don't realize this. Legally, you don't have to be a member of Congress to be a speaker. And everybody votes on the speaker, not just the party that's in charge. Everybody votes on it. The reason why the party always gets is because the person running is always a person who's a member, and his party, who is the majority, votes on it. But in theoretically, a Democrat could be the Speaker of the House if the Republicans voted for the Democrat. Now, that's not going to happen, but legally, but not just that. Legally, I could be Speaker of the House. Josh, you could be. You don't even have to be a member of Congress to be Speaker of the House. You can be somebody else. That is possible legally. So people don't know that. That's why I think you're saying Amash for Speaker of the House. In theory, Amash could be Speaker of the House. That actually could happen. Why do we bring it up? Because being so close, if McCarthy doesn't make sure every Republican votes for him, if he doesn't get majority, someone else has to be Speaker. What if all the Democrats vote for somebody and they convince a certain number of other Republicans to vote for the same person? The Democrats, in theory, could, oust McCarthy. They could say, we want whatever, Elise Stefanik to be the speaker. So all Democrats vote for Stefanik, and if enough Republicans do, she's speaker, even though the Republicans put up the other person. Could happen. Or the reverse. We think Josh is awesome. We're all going to vote for him. If enough do it, it could work. So yes, thanks for bringing it up. That is a little inside baseball, but I hope that's interesting. So yes. All righty. Neural Eclipse, haven't seen you in a while. How are you? Larry, all these establishmentarian dinosaurs must go. Agreed. Pelosi, Schumer, McConnell, Graham, etc. Time for some fresh faces to get into office like you. Thank you. How about term limits? I agree completely on what you said. I think term limits are a good idea. I understand the theoretical pushback on it, right? Theoretically, the pushback is the voters decide term limits. If you don't have gerrymandering, I'm more open to that idea. But sadly, we don't have it. We have a gerrymandered two-party system. In the gerrymandered two-party system, the party bosses decide whoever's the establishment candidate will win with the most money. And in a gerrymandered situation, that party always wins. So we actually don't pick our Congress people in most cases. In most cases, they're selected for us. If you were to get rid of that system, I would be more apt to say maybe we don't need term limits. Maybe. I'm open to the argument. But we're nowhere near changing that system. So I'm absolutely for term limits. I think it's a good idea because we don't vote out the old. We just keep them in. So yes, for term limits, I'm totally in for it. And more importantly, not as much for executives. I mean, good idea too, but so what? Much more worried about legislature. There's far more corruption in the Congress and legislature than there is in the executive branch. Far more. I mean, it's not even close. It's by magnitudes. Far more. So I'd rather have it there. And second, we tend to vote out executives. Executives usually don't stay that long. Because we get sick of them and tired of them. We tend to vote them out. So there is more of our power on direct voting on executives. So I'm actually less concerned about term limits for executives. And the reason why it happened, by the way, wasn't because the people wanted it, right? The people loved FDR. They'd have voted for him for like forever. There were no term limits till 1940s. Some people don't know that, right? Term limits on the president is new. That wasn't a thing. So we didn't have term limits for 150 years or so, and we never had a president more than twice without term limits. And that's my point. We usually vote them out, right? History has shown we don't like executives for too long. So we usually vote them out. It's direct democracy. We kept him in forever because we liked him. The reason why it happened was because the people were sick. It's because all the other Congress people wanted their chance at the presidency. And they thought, this guy's going to be president forever. We can't get our chance. So they made term limits so they could all get a chance. This was for congressional power. It wasn't for the people. There was no need for this. Literally, there was no need. FDR was the only exception. Think about it. Even in our own, what if we didn't have term limits at all? Who would have gotten a third? Who would have gotten a third term? Maybe Reagan, but he was already older. People think he was on the deteriorating already, so probably not even Reagan. Probably not Reagan. Maybe Clinton, but probably not. He was already beat up from the Monica Lewinsky scandal. He probably wouldn't have done it, so he probably wouldn't have got it, right? So but maybe Clinton, maybe, but probably not those. Maybe Obama, maybe. So if we didn't have term limits on the executive, the president, maybe one or two guys would have gone 3 terms. Maybe none of them. And again, throughout history, only FDR, even before we had term limits. So I don't know if it's a big deal, is all I'm saying. So, but for Congress people, 100% yes. Hope I answered that question. So, all right. Paula says, Larry, it's a miracle the impact that you made, and you did make an impact, not just in New York, but across the country. Oh, thank you. They did it with so little money, it makes it even more miraculous. Oh, thank you, Paula. I appreciate that. Yes, thank you. Absolutely. All right. Libertarians diligently plot and take over the world and leave you alone. Liberty Memes Community Group. Yes, 100% true. Yes, absolutely. I do appreciate that. Guys, I want to say one more time, if I could, like, comment, and share. I know I bug you all the time. It does matter. If you can support the channel, please do so, right? patreon.com/Sharpway. $10 a month goes a long way to help this move forward. To get us the clips, we need to get clips. To pay for the editing, we need to edit for. We can try to do all that stuff, to advertising to get past the algorithms. We need to keep this going. So please, if you can give $10 a month, that's awesome. If you can, Larry, I love you, but I can't do it. No worries. World's smallest political quiz. To Joseph's point, they're our sponsor. Help me out by doing it. If you go there and share it, they know that it's being shared. They see more traffic to the website. They're happy. They keep sponsoring the show. So do that. It's free. So you don't have to give me $10 a month. See, easy. Do that. No $10 a month. Larry, I'm lazy. I don't want to take the quiz. Then give me $10. Done. See, either way, you got more time. Give me time. You got more money. Give me money. I don't care. Either one. Doesn't matter to me. Either one works fine. And no matter what, click that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. It does matter tremendously. Please help out to the best of your ability. Absolutely. So yes. All right. Brian says the problem with not having term limits is that people complain about how bad the current politicians are, and they fail to vote them out because they feel that the others are bad, but not my guy. Yes. Yes, Brian, completely. They all vote for their guy. Nothing changes. Yes, yes, and yes. You are correct. 100%. You are correct. That's what happens. So that's why we have to have term limits. I wish it wasn't that way, right? In theory, it shouldn't be that way. So that's why some people argue, but term limits is why we vote. Theoretically, they are true, but in practice, you are 100% correct, Brian. So thank you for that. Yes. So, all right. Let's see if I can grab one more or two. Dan says, favorite recent libertarian meme: no one wants to take away our government. We just want some common sense government control. I like that. Common sense government control. Well done. What a better way to end the show. Guys, thank you so much for today. I appreciate it. I will be on tomorrow with Libertarians Drinking Coffee Live with Libertarian Bill Schmidt at 3 p.m. He is a former local elected official in New York State and was on my ticket for comptroller this year. Great guy. Heard him speak years ago. Helped me to be a libertarian. He'll be on, and then I'll be again on tomorrow night at 7, and then Monday too. We are still rocking and rolling. I will see you all very soon.